Hey everybody, it is August 8th, 2008. I am Sonic Sons. I'm doing a little video called Don't Be an NPC. This is, it's essentially continuing on what I just said earlier called Niros. Now I get to say more of that, because apparently I haven't quite purged that. I don't know. NPC, for those of you who don't know, means non-player character. It's a term used in video games, which means, you have the main hero, and he's like walking down the in RPGs, and he's like walking down the road or whatever, and then like generally there's like, maybe some allies or something which are generally like invisible. That's like into all the other cliches of the world. And the NPC is the guy you walk up to and like he says hi, or says something like, "Oh, the king lives to the north." And he never says anything else. He just like repeats that every time you talk to him. Shuffles back and forth in a particular pattern. I think that a lot of the things in, let's say, video games or old myths, legends, cultural memory, a lot of this stuff is more relevant than we give it credit for. Okay, real world is always a little more complicated, a little more messy, yada yada. But when you have a deal and there's, some wicked sorcerer, and it's mainly just the help to the hero to grab his sword and go off and do something about it. And his main aspect is he just has to go and do something about it. The simplicity. You know what? It's actually fairly simple in the real world too, and on some level. There's no literal dragon to slay or whatever, but we use these metaphors. To clarify things, and there's something you need to do, and you have to go do it. And I think that what we ought to do in said real world is more obvious than we pretend it is. So it's different for every person, surely, or in the exact specifics of the thing, and blah blah blah. But I've got a lot of stuff I want to do. I've even taken the time to think about it, which is a great step, and I can do a little more of it. I'm on YouTube, I'm not cool, and Bidlin.tv. Could I do that more? Maybe. I think I'd love to do that more. At least once every couple of days, at least. I can manage that. Dear me, a couple of times I've done 3 videos in a day or something. But I think I can, and more importantly, I want to, and more importantly, I should do this a little bit more. I have thoughts, don't I? I could, and I was gone for 3 weeks, and I made the Niros video, and then a couple of days went by, and we not, in the context of a game, or a novel for that matter. The game, of course, the player has some direct involvement. But you sit and play a game, and okay, my deal is to be the hero. You could also make other games that have whatever else the premise may be. But a lot of things happen to you. You have to be the hero. You go kill these monsters. You got to do this courageous thing. You gotta, and because that's the context. That's okay. Then you go do that. Why do we forget this for real life? Why do we? I just spent the last hour before starting to make this video essentially sitting in front of my computer not doing much. Niros, essentially. Which makes, again, this video rather repetitive, seeing as it's the one right after the Niros. You know what? Whatever. And hopefully the microphone on this thing is working. So I gotta figure that one out. But I spent my last hour doing things I didn't actually particularly care about a whole lot. You can feel it, inside. I feel my chest cavity. I actually feel a lot of emotions actually there. Slight pride question. Does everyone else do that? Or do I just have a psychosomatic thing going on there that is unique to me? I'm always feelings actually in the heart. Right around there. I can feel it though. Of this sort of emptiness, this sort of wasting away, this sort of Niros, as I termed it. So really, I gotta come up with a whole vocabulary of other related words and various. Like, there's like the idea of Niros, but then there's like the emotion that one would feel when you realize that, you know, should I have different words for those? Should I have... But, you know, there's nothing. Words. Language. I'm actually trying to invent an artificial language. Doesn't that sound cool? Yes, you know, maybe I could do a little more of that once in a while. I don't want to do this to the point of, you know, overtaxing myself. Dear me. I've certainly been on the path of pushing myself too hard, believing that pain equals progress, or something like that. But when I pushed myself too hard, it was, you know, it's like you can only do that when you're not really going for the right thing. You know what I mean? You're neglecting some aspect of yourself. Perhaps you work too hard on, you know, schoolwork was the deal for me, and you neglect like your emotional and maybe even physical health. Both of those apply to me, you know. And like you should have emotional and physical. That'd be nice. And that should be obvious. Back to my earlier point, it should be obvious that we should, you know. So what would make you happy? You know, like what would be good? What would be, you know,